welcome along to the Mad Monday podcast. You're with the ACC. You're live from the Export Beer Garden studio with a big thanks to the legends at 4 and 20 Pies. My name is Dai Henwood, and look, this is my first time on the Mad Monday podcast with the man, the myth, the legend. He's always making me smile. Izaak, how are you?
Nah, I'm doing bloody good. Obviously, feeling kind of shit after last night's game, being a Blues supporter myself. And but feeling good. Good to be here. Happy to be on another Mad Monday.
Happy days. We'll put our allegiances out there. I'm a Blues supporter as well. I know you're a Parramatta fan.
Yep. Through and through.
It's good to have a bit of flavour from around the league. But yeah, I was working. Then I got home. My boy had stayed up. We're all settled in. I was like, this is it. It's the decider. Accor Stadium in New South Wales. The Blues are going to do it. But not only did they not do it, they got blown out of the water. It looked pretty good for about 8 minutes there, though, bro.
Yeah. I mean, people were saying in the office, they're asking me what the score was. Some people only watched the first half, saw the 20-0, and I told them, it was 24-12. Doesn't sound as bad as the game actually was. The boys got dominated.
Yeah, like 24-12 actually sounds like it was a bit of a tussle and maybe a team got away. But first up, as much as over the years I've mocked Queensland, I've jumped on that bandwagon. There was a few dubious ref calls I was talking about at the beginning, but the ref played no part in this game. Ashley Klein did a pretty good job, I thought. As I was saying that first 8 minutes, I thought, the Blues are looking good here. Critter Crichton was getting on the outside of his man. He's creating a bit of space. They had a bit of flavour. They were going forward. But Queensland, full respect, they basically played a perfect game. They didn't make a knock on until the 70th minute.
Yeah, Toya down the sideline was the first incompletion. I think they're at 33 from 33 up to that point? Unreal.
And their go forward was amazing. Like, I thought Tino Fa'asuamaleaui probably had his best game of the series. Patrick Carrigan, who I've always sort of thought of as the new Aaron Woods, he actually had a good game, I thought. He made a lot of meters as well. And you can't ignore Cameron Munster. I mean, his father passing away a couple of days prior to the game. He left camp, he came back, and he delivered a masterclass. Let's get down to the halves v the halves. Tom Dearden and Cam Munster, you've got to say they massively outdid Cleary and Luai.
Fear the deer is what they're saying now after Dearden put on a masterclass. Funnily enough, I actually went to the Superman premiere, and the feats that Superman accomplished in that movie, nothing compared to what Thomas Dearden put on last night. That man was unreal. And just to jump back onto the forwards of Queensland, I knew it was going to be a long game when Trent Loiero, of all people in the Queensland team, was breaking tackles and throwing offloads. I was like, this is not a good sign.
Oh, completely. Even when my son looks at me and he goes, why is Trent Loiero
Exactly.
And why is he playing so well?
I was like, that was the thing that pissed me off. I don't like Trent Loiero as a player. I don't think he should be there. And then to see him come and dominate our boys like he was.
Yeah, and someone who I think of as the aggressor in the New South Wales team, Angus Crichton, he seemed pretty nullified. Usually he's really niggly, physical, but he was pretty nullified. I mean, I actually thought Jerome Luai had the best game out of the halves. Cleary sort of went missing. I don't know whether that was because he was carrying an injury. I know there's a lot of chat around Cleary hasn't stood up at Origin. He hasn't won a decider.
What hasn't won a decider is the crazy part.
Because thinking back to the other decider, it was Moses and Luai.
Yeah, and dare I say, no bias whatsoever. Pardon my Eels hat, but Moses won us the first game as well. He's undefeated this series.
Oh, completely. we missed Moses kicking. I reckon Moses actually has a better long kicking game than Cleary. And Dearden, who's not known for his kicking,
some of the thumpers
was hammering it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was like, that's the one thing. I was like, New South Wales, if we don't have anything, we have Cleary's boot. Munster and Dearden were kicking it over our back three's heads.
And I knew the game was going south early on when the try that went down the left-hand edge of Queensland, Zach Lomax did a full DWZ and just honed in, and then Crichton was left. Crichton literally had his hands up going, "What are you doing?" And the coach just strolled in the corner. And Queensland, they just looked up to play. Like they had they had the emotion in check, but they knew the state of the game and how big the game was. And how could the Blues not be up for that game? They just didn't look up for it.
At home, Cotter and Capewell, I think, had blinders on the edges there.
Oh, Capewell, I mean, people are intrigued as his selection because, I mean, maybe the end of last year and beginning of this year he had been a slight journeyman, but he's been showing up for the Warriors. And then talk about show up for Queensland. He's that player you want in a team who he's not going to blast anyone away with flashy X factor in that. But he shows up at every tackle. He doesn't drop the ball. His passes are on point.
Yeah, that's exactly what I expected out of Reece Robson for New South. But that's got to be his most runs in a game ever last night. I thought it was taking away from our go forward.
His Reece Robson, if you just took him on the stats, you go, he had a pretty good game as he tackled his ass off. But you're right. He ran a lot, but every time he ran, he was by himself. He wasn't passing, so he was just getting taken down. He wasn't necessarily getting quick play of the balls. A moment that really stood out to me was when we kicked it into the in goal and we had no chasers. And Xavier Coates just ran out. Like, in Origin, you're meant to be swarming on defence like that. And those sort of moments, I mean, Latrell tried his ass off, maybe too much in a way, just biffing a few. He doesn't have a controlled offload like Payne Haas does. Credit Payne Haas. In 2 games, he hasn't trained until a captain's run or whatever. And he was probably our best
go forward. Yeah.
Like in terms of not making a lot of meters, but causing trouble.
Over the advantage.
Nice little offloads. I know we were sort of mentioning in the thread the idea of, is the Penrith spine working, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like the commentators, I thought, did a great job of mentioning it as well, was that Queensland were jamming the outside every single time. You had the centre and the wing up pushed, yet you still see Yo taking it deep into the line, and then Cleary gets it. He takes it deep into the line. By the time the ball gets out to your Latrells, by the time your ball gets out to your Critters, the Queensland's already there. And they didn't adapt at all.
No, and especially because Queensland, they were running a superbly... Their line speed, even in the last 20 minutes, was relentless, which means to go, you have to get it out early. If you want to go wide. And you're right. Yo steps up in Origin. He makes those runs. I actually thought they missed Tedesco because that sort of pinballing style Tedesco has around the ruck, always there for an offload, always running lines. Yeah. I thought he might have been more dangerous. And this is no knock on Edwards, because Edwards is a bit like that Capewell style player of he'll catch it, he'll run it up, but he's not he doesn't seem to have the vision for that real X factor play that's going to get a try.
Yeah, 100%.
And Teddy arguably is having one of the best seasons of his career at the Roosters this year. And I mean, I don't know where what they do, because I was worried when they said they were going to sign Daly again as the coach, because the hard years of Fittler, when then Laurie Daly, and then I thought it might be okay because they were sticking to everything Madge pretty much did. Going up to the Blue Mountains, kept a lot of the same coaches, and that brought Craig Bellamy in. But I was really let down watching his press conference. He was like, the boys played pretty well. I'm proud of them. They won some moments. Bro, this was meant to be the unlosable series.
Exactly. And then you got Billy Slater crying on the field with Cam Munster. Like the two polar opposites of coaches.
Yeah, and Laurie Daly, like he's coaching the Titans or something, and it's like a whole season. Yeah, it's a hard game, We'll be back next week. But that emotion really summed up, I thought, the different approaches. And the Blues lost in Perth. We took out an amazing game at Suncorp. Where everyone was like, I felt game 1 and game 3 were the same, but reverse teams. They did to the Queensland did to us what we did to them in game 1. We showed up at Suncorp. We ran hard up the middle. We played our own style. Whereas in game 1, Queensland had no idea in attack. They just bombed for Nanai, and that didn't work, and they kept doing it. Whereas New South Wales didn't seem to be able to pivot in that game and try something else. And a lot of that was down to Queensland's line speed, their defence. They gave no one a shot. And this is why, as much as New South Wales were flat, you've got to hand it to Queensland for pretty much playing the perfect game.
Centres as well. 2 rookie centres. Shibasaki played the house down. It just gets worse the more you start. And everybody's like, dogging Slater for picking these guys. These guys come out and just blow New South Wales out the house. And then you have Cherry Evans, who's probably watching that game, fuming last night. Because that's probably the last time he's going to see the 7 jersey.
How is that, eh? After the first game, he drops the captain and halfback, and who arguably was their in-game kicker, for Dearden, who we know is a good player. And Dearden just grows another leg, steps up and owns it. And, if you look forward, Dearden and Munster, they've got another 5 years together probably.
Yeah.
And Queensland just find that player. You mentioned the centres. Shibasaki second oldest player on debut behind Arthur Beetson from back in the day. And Robert Toya, who had played something like 6 first-grade games before he got selected for Origin, because he hadn't even played the whole 2 months at the Roosters. And what was a masterstroke, I thought, was they won game 2. They lost Ponga, but they weren't afraid to make agile changes. They brought Big Papa, Josh Papali'i in, who is exactly what they needed. And Billy Slater ignored Reece Walsh and put Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow at the back, and that was a masterstroke. He's an out-and-out fullback, man. He is dangerous.
Any sort of sniff of a chance, that ball hits the ground, if there's hammers around it, and if he gets it, it was pretty much done deal. He is,
and he's so fluid. Like, everything he does looks easy. And I was really worried about him, and he just stepped up. They didn't have a bad player, right? Their interchanges worked. For us, I thought Hudson Young, with us getting hammered quickly, we didn't pivot at all and go, shit, let's get Hudson Young and Spencer Leniu on early, try and mix up the way we're playing.
Yeah, I thought, what was it, 65 before Watson even got a run on? When Robson's out there doing like tackling his ass off, like we said, but he's off there giving us no go forward out there, giving us no quick delivery to our halves. And then Watson, you have fresh legs that you don't play until 15 minutes when the game's arguably already lost.
Yeah, I actually was wondering whether someone like Blake Brayley should have been in there, or like, I think it was a mistake to carry so many injured players in, maybe. Having said that, To'o didn't train until the captain's
our two injured players,
and he was arguably our best. Payne Haas was probably the best forward. He didn't train, so maybe we don't train. Also, how disjointed was our line in defence? Like, we seemed to have a couple of people up. It was a zigzag, and people were going around. I thought the most embarrassing Origin try was Harry Grant's, when he's on the line with three guys tackling him, and he just spins around and scores.
And there was time for someone to slide under that ball because, they stopped him at first part, and he still had time to just fall over the line.
He had three guys on him. They had him up as well. They should have driven him back. A lot of that actually fell on Reece Robson, but the Blues are going to have to do some soul searching, and we say that a lot. This is 15 series wins out of 20 series for Queensland. And how they are still paying $3 to win when you've won 15 out of 20 series. This has to be the best and easiest bet at the TAB, right?
Yeah.
They're always outsiders, and Queensland always come home. I don't know what the Blues do. They say they get Origin, but do they get Origin?
That was the first time I've started to doubt it. I've always, whenever you say New South Wales don't get Origin, like maybe 30 minutes into last night's game, I was like, shit, there might be some legs in that.
Yeah, because they don't seem to show up with that passion that Queensland showed up. That's now in the last 5 years. Remember the 2020 COVID one or whatever, where they were called the worst Queensland team? They took that out. This team, I actually just think they selected the best players who are in form, Yeah. But people can knock on Shibasaki, but he's smashing it at the Broncos, They obviously saw something in Robert Toya. Dearden, the Cowboys have been having a hard run, but Dearden just shows up.
Yeah.
That's the best Origin game of late Munster's had. And even when you see the speeches afterwards, it was hard not to like that Queensland side. And I always think this, Xavier Coates is a real underrated player. He just sneaks under the radar, but he always delivers on the wing.
Yeah, he's another bet. Like, Queensland to win, Xavier Coates to score.
Yeah. And the kicking form of Val Holmes, actually, if Zach Lomax kicks 2 goals in game two, New South Wales win. Because that's the thing is, you forget New South Wales lost but won 5 tries to 4. So, and they missed pretty much every goal in game. Game 2 was a shambles for them. The first half of game 2 and the goal kicking, and then that whole of game 3. Were you secretly hoping for that game 2 second half comeback?
Yeah. I was genuinely, because I knew Zach Lomax missing all his goals. I was like, he's going to cop the blame for that.
Yeah. Now, but just before we wrap up Origin, what do you think? Was that Queensland being perfect or New South Wales choking?
I think that was I'm putting New South Wales choked that.
Yeah.
Although Queensland was perfect, they just didn't even give themselves a chance.
No, Queensland were perfect, but their tries came off really scrappy play. Not all of their tries, but scrappy play where New South Wales should have been in it. Also, Jerome Luai kicking it in goal early on, which then they just headed down and got a penalty and got their first 2 points. Reece Robson doing a stupid tackle on Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow without the ball. That was it. The Blues did stupid stuff. They choked. Queensland showed up, and apparently Laurie Daly signed for next year, and there's been no murmurs out in New South Wales that that'll change, but something drastic's going to have to change at the Blues, whether it be personnel or whether it just be coaching change or something. Or maybe even get out of the Blue Mountains, go somewhere else. What do you do, eh?
Picking on form potentially would be maybe the reason why Queensland beat us this year.
Talking about picking on form, where's Keon Kolamatangi?
Yep.
He's a player who's a big minute middle, but whose silky ball handling, gets on his front, finds the gaps. Terrell May, a great example of a young player who probably should have been given a chance. Stefano Utoi Kamanu didn't do anything wrong, but he's not doing it. I'd love to see someone like Spencer Leniu just a bit earlier, because he feels like someone who gets Origin. He just wants to come out and smash dudes and run hard. That's what Origin is about. So to all the New South Wales fans, I'd love to say next year is our year, but if bloody Billy Slater is on the end of another dynasty, it is going to break my balls. However, there's rumours that he might be sifting off, taking over from Bellamy in a few years. Imagine that. He knows what he's doing, Billy Slater. So congrats to all the Queensland fans. You had a well-deserved win, and, probably up there in the top 2 or 3 Origin
wins,
victories, especially Origin deciders in the history. Now, we're going to come back and we're going to preview the Warriors versus the Tigers. But first of all, check this out. We've got your chance to win flights for 2, accommodation, tickets to a Warriors home game, and $500 spending money with the Mad Monday Try and Pie fly-off. All you got to do, right, is text PIE to 3236 to enter, and all this is thanks to 4 and 20 Pies, the ultimate fan food. Get it? Make sure it's hot. Take it out of the plastic wrapping. Close your eyes so you're just in the zen moment and shove that pie in your face. It's so good.
Don't forget to blow.
We're going to see you after the break. Always blowing it. Now, Warriors fans, welcome back to the Mad Monday podcast. You are with Izaak and Dai. We're now going to take a look at the Warriors, our wonderful Warriors, even though you're an Eels fan. You've got a soft spot for the Warriors, though, do you?
It's become soft since working here. I've kind of come right to the Warriors. Not fully fledged a fan. You wouldn't even call me anywhere near a fan of the Warriors, but I respect them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and that's what that's what I love about this country, is not everyone is a Warriors fan, you know.
And I'll tell you what, last night at the Superman premiere, the Warriors were out in full force. A bunch of them were out at the premiere as well. I found myself in the bathroom next to RTS, and I kind of got that sense, like I kind of feel like what it feels like to line up against them on the field, because I was right next to them in the urinal. I managed to fight the urge to take a peek over the divider.
I tell you, you're getting up there with the notorious pantsman status, testing around Warriors players.
Yeah.
Mate, but so they look nice and casual and calm. Not in the toilets, just when they were cruising around the premiere.
Yeah. They look calm and ready for an ambush on the Tigers, I'd say.
Oh, I like that, because that's right. This Sunday, 4 p.m. out at Go Media Mount Smart Stadium, the Fruit Bowl. Stop. It's Tanner time. Tanah Boyd, the man, the myth, the legend that is Tanah Boyd, the sort of journeyman halfback from the Titans who's been playing out of his skin in New South Wales Cup. He joins the side as we mourn the tragic loss, not in life, but in starting potential of Luke Metcalf. So the Warriors have a bit of a shake-up. We've got C&K out, and we've got Luke Metcalf out. So Tane Tuapiki, he's going to be your starting fullback. On the wings, RTS, Pompey. In the centres, I like this, Kurt Capewell and Rocco Berry. Hopefully Kurt Capewell backs up. He took a bit of a knock to the face late in Origin where he had a bit of blood around the chops, but I think he's okay. In the halves, as we mentioned, Tanah Boyd and CHT. Then front row, Fisher Harris, Jackson Ford. Wade Egan is your number 9. Leka Halasima and Marata Niokore in the back row with Aaron Clark at lock. The bench looks like Tamari Martin, Jacob Laban, Dimitri Vaimonga, and Tanner Stowers-Smith. So, a few changes there. Tanner Stowers-Smith, friend of the podcast, he makes his way onto the bench. I'm not massively sold on Tamari Martin as a 14. I don't know why, but I don't know whether it's him or the fact that Webster doesn't seem to use him until the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I think Tamari Martin might be there just for injury cover for the 6 and 7 more so than anything. After losing Metcalf, of course. Bad loss, but it's good having someone there who can cover.
Yeah, completely. And arguably, Tanah Boyd is a better kicker, in-game kicker, but we haven't seen him play first grade. The Tigers feel like they're on the up a bit. They're coming off a good win. Although every win, I say good win, every win they have, they manage to make as hard as possible. Because the Roosters almost came back on them. The key for me is going to be shutting down Terrell May, who he's got so much go forward. He's got a great offload. The Fainu brothers, all three of them scored last week. They look good. Latu in the halves, Latu Fainu. He looks good. They've got a young, hungry side. Jerome Buller at the back. Oh, they look good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be...
How do you think it's going to play out?
I think it's going to be a battle of the halves. I think it's Tanah Boyd v. Latu Fainu. I do rate Fainu. I think Fainu's been amazing, and him finally getting that starting gig has done bits for his confidence. And then having your brother outside of you, they've been playing since they're little, that connection. It showed up last week with all three of them, like you're saying, scoring a try. But I also rate Tanah Boyd, and I thought he was unlucky to get shafted out of the Titans squad. I thought he was gun when he was there. Obviously, maybe fell out of favour with Des Hasler once he arrived. But I've rated Tanah Boyd when they announced Warriors signing him. I thought it was a great signing, and I wanted him to actually start this year.
I completely agree with you. I initially had in my head potentially Tanah Boyd at 7 and Metcalf at 6.
At 6,
how I thought it might come out. And it'll be interesting to see where the Titans are at, because I heard yesterday Des Hasler's announced his retirement at the end of the year. So they're going to, I don't know what the Titans are going to do. They haven't sort of their shit out, to be honest. And Tanah Boyd's probably a longer term half than someone like Kieran Foran is, who's dealing with a lot of injury in that. And this is a bit of a must-win game for the Warriors. We fell off against Penrith, a game we should have won. We got ambushed and smoked by the Broncos. Now we need to settle in to the run home, because we've got the Tigers, we've got the Knights away, the Titans at home, the Dolphins at home, then the Dogs away. That's how the next little while looks like.
There's
wins in there.
Yeah, well, how many wins do you think there is in there?
I'd want a minimum of 3 out of 5. I would want us to definitely beat the Tigers, Knights, and Titans.
Yeah.
The hard games are the Dolphins and Dogs. Where if we really are a top 4 side, we need to beat the Dolphins. And to be honest, we've got hammered by the big teams. Melbourne, Canberra, although the second game against Canberra we kept it tight, we still got beaten. And the Dogs, we don't play them for a month or so. It's going to be interesting to see where they're at because they've had a couple of losses. They're trying to fit Lockie Galvin into their side.
They're kind of falling off the rails, eh?
Yeah, they have. And then your standards, not your standards, but Canberra and then Melbourne are just keeping it tight. So it's going to be an interesting weekend of footy. The Warriors look staunch. I like Tane Tuapiki at the back. I've thought that we need him in the side. We need him in the side because he has an X factor that we are missing a little bit. He causes those runs. So, no, I like what I'm seeing. And, hey, just jumping off the Warriors for a sec, well, give us a little take on the Eels.
Okay. Well,
where do you see the season? How's it been and how's it going to go?
It's been a shocking one. Lomax has obviously been great for our side. He's done heaps of work off the side, but the injuries to Mitchell Moses, all the controversy around Dylan Brown leaving as well, it's left a sort of uncertainty around where we're going to end up. But I'd boldly come out and say we won't be playing a spoon bowl this year. So from last year...
Hey, that is a win.
Yeah, we'll take that for sure. But we recently signed Talon Da Silva. I think he's exactly what we need at hooker, someone young, quick. We signed him for 6 years odd. So I think that's investing into our future. And with our young spine, Iongi, who I think is going to be the future Queensland fullback as well, I think we're in good stead. I think we're in great stead.
What I like about Iongi is that he's managing to stay out of the hype light a bit. So he's just getting games under his belt. He's not blowing people away, but he's playing really good footy.
Yeah.
He's taking his chances where they are. And I love watching Mitchell Moses play. And it's just a bummer that he's been sort of a bit injury-riddled.
Well, yeah, I see people saying that he's a part-time Parramatta player and a full-time New South Wales half. Which
well, he isn't. Well, he played 1 game out of 3 for New South Wales, so he's pretty part-time there as well. But, no, I mean, I think for the future, Parramatta, they're looking in good stead. And Jason Riles, he hasn't really had a chance to put his fingerprints on things, but what he's doing looks good.
Slowly and surely, trust the process.
Trust the process, but don't necessarily trust my team list. I just did a double check on NRL.com. Adam Pompey's not playing on the wing. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak has been rushed back from injury, his syndesmosis injury that looked like it was going to be 4 to 5 weeks. He's back. He's named, starting in the number 2 jersey. I don't know. There were fans maybe going, let's see how another lineup will go with someone on the wing. I think Pompey's had a cracker of a season, to be honest. And Pompey actually moves into the centres with Rocco Berry because I think they're holding fire on
Capewell.
Capewell's dropped completely out of the squad.
Oh, so he must be.
He is. He's in the 23 jersey now. So they're obviously.
He's on the bender.
He's not going to play.
He's on the bender for sure.
Oh, hard out. Whatever. There's not enough 4X in the world. I think. I wonder what little part of New South Wales they snuck off to, or whether they just got a slab, like a pallet of piss on a bus and drove all the way back to Queensland.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there you have it. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak back. Let's hope he's not jamming in like
Damn, man.
Old Zach was in New South Wales. And the thing is, it's not a knock on DWZ, but since Sean's gone, he hasn't really scored. Sean seemed to be the guy who was putting him in the corner for the diving tries and that. The shape's not... I suppose he always scored because we only went right. But now we're going left a lot more. I can't predict anything because I haven't seen Tanah Boyd play in first grade. Isaac's got raps on him. I've got raps on him. Anyone who watches New South Wales Cup has got raps on him. And while we're just sitting here rapping Tanah Boyd, you enjoy this beautiful advertisement. Welcome back to the Mad Monday podcast. You're with Dai and Izaak. A big thanks to not only 4 and 20 Pies, but the TAB, and we've got the TAB hunch here. Before the break, we were waxing lyrical about Tanah Boyd, and our little TAB hunch is Tanah Boyd, anytime try scorer, at the moment paying $4.80. That is tasty. Yep. $4.80, that's a sort of Queensland to win type price you got your hands on there. So go Tanah Boyd, anytime try scorer. Now, before we head into the sunset or the drizzle of the 09 region, how's your SuperCoach going, bro?
The confidence is there, as it always is, but the team is saying very much otherwise. Bye rounds caught me like a son of a bitch, and I got caught out playing maybe 10 players at one point, doing absolutely shocking. I think I'm sitting in the 160 range in our ACC league, so it's not going good.
Yeah, I'm in the same spot, but I actually did a strategic buy round, purposeful drop games to save trades.
Yep.
So I had a big run-in to the way home. My players who have really stepped up for me, a lot of people jumped off Milky Jenkins on Thomas Jenkins at the Panthers with that beautiful milk white dairy skin and SPF 50 hair. He has stepped up and delivered. I've had Shibasaki from the get-go.
That's a good shout. That's a bloody good shout.
And Shibasaki was one of those guys that just seemed to be between 60 and 100 points. My trades this week, I'm bringing old Scotty Drinkwater in. I've been a bit late on him. And I noticed Hudson Young has just picked up an injury in Origin. So he's definitely not backing up. I don't know how long he's out for.
You still have Hudson Young in your team?
Yeah, I had Hudson Young. Doesn't knock me too bad because I'm at the moment running. I've got basically 2 trades a game till the end of the season now. And he's worth $750, so I can pretty much move him out for most players. Where I'm struggling is really don't know who to have as a hooker. I've got Cam McInnes at the moment.
Yeah, I've got Peter Mamazilis and Sandon Smith, who's obviously been delegated to the bench following the return of Sam Walker. Good news for Peter Mamo because Cheese obviously went down as well. But I'm thinking with the flex, hooker's just one of those positions that just give way. Since the flex is introduced, you don't really need to have those players.
And no one's popping off at hooker. Like it's not like when Harry Grant was like 90 every game, and before that Damien Cook was the man. I've been stoked. We talked about him for why he should be in Origin, but Terrell May's delivered every game, eh?
Yeah, it's hard to steer away from captaining Terrell May because you know exactly what you're going to get. He's not as he's not as up and down as some of the centre wings. Although Herbie, I'll suck off Herbie every single day of the week. This man, this man is getting me 100+ points every week. If I saw him out one night, he's done. He's done.
You know, I reckon Herbie Farnworth and that All Black Will Jordan, they have a very similar vibe to me. That World War II sort of vibe with the upright run. I've I've been captaining James Tedesco he's been delivering for me a lot this year. Looking at the sort of popular trades, a lot of people are trading in Connor Watson.
The
big trades seem to be Connor Watson, Ezra Mam. People are taking a risk on Mark Nawangani-Tuasi, who, how enjoyable is he to watch play footy? He did a sort of dummy, flick pass dummy.
Yes, I saw that. That's like
he's just one of the, he gets the ball and you want to see what he's going to do.
If you collated the best lunchtime rugby highlights from all over the world or all over New Zealand, that'd be Mark's highlights. He just does whatever he wants.
Hard out. And trade outs, because Souths are on the bye. Big trade outs are like Keon Kolomatangi. Cam Munster's on the trade out as well. He hasn't been going that well in SuperCoach. He's got a high break even, and he's definitely not playing on the weekend from the mail I've got.
Yeah. Kolomatangi doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you'd trade him out. You're gonna want to finish with him, but Cam Munster, I'd probably steer away from those Storm boys, because since they're sitting pretty at the top of the leaderboard, you are going to see a bunch of them be set out towards the end of the season, which could do you some harm in the finals of head-to-head leagues.
I completely agree. Maybe the only player I'd look at from them would be Jerome Hughes, because he's had no rep duty.
Yeah.
And they might leave him as the sort of old head in the side.
Yeah.
But Munster, expect him to be rest. Pappenhausen,
for sure.
He was out with injury. They're going to keep him on cotton wool bubbling through the back end of this season.
Yeah.
I reckon. And Bellamy is just the king of resting players at the right time, easing them in. I'm going to be intrigued to see, actually, if Nico Hines steps up his game.
From what I've seen in the Sharks, I have no hopes for Nico Hines. I don't know what it is. Like, we kind of saw last year Trindle start to pick up more workload. And obviously earlier in the season, Hines had a calf injury, like sort of calf niggle. So he stopped kicking so much in just your regular play. But I just see nothing from him that suggests that he's gonna pick up.
No, and SuperCoach wise, he hasn't been a dud. Like, he's still been scoring between 55 and 60, but he hasn't been turning up and having those big scores that you want from a halfback. I've had Adam Vanua-Blake in my side from the get-go. I thought he was going to pop off at the Sharks. He hasn't been bad, but once again, he hasn't been getting Terrell May-like scores. So it's going to be an interesting run home. Lock your trades in. Enjoy your footy. Just on the cheapies, that guy, your Ricky Stewart's son, seems popular.
Old Jed Stewart. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of cheapies in the that are up for grabs at the moment. We've got Jed Stewart, Ricky Stewart's son, Kane Bradley as well, the Storm winger with Howarth out. He's looking to prove some value, and you can actually play him in your second row forward. So if you're looking to cash out, this is pretty much after the bye rounds. SuperCoaches, you're either cashing down or you're going up. You're going up to a gun. So I can jump on these guys.
Jump on them. Well, that is SuperCoach. That is the deep knowledge on SuperCoach from two guys who are languishing.
Yeah, take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly. Just as you think you're flying. However, I still proudly wear my red KFC socks and my key ring that I got from landing in the top 10 of SuperCoach 4 years ago. And I haven't got vaguely near those sort of heights since then. But thanks for tuning in to the Mad Monday. Enjoy the Warriors. My pick is Warriors by 12. Tell me how the Eels are going to go this weekend.
Eels, I'd say by 12 as well, and I'll back Warriors by 12. And if Roger can do the same amount of goose steps he was doing in that bathroom to shake off that excess urine. I think he's well on your way to a great win.
You got the mad tips from Mad Monday. And remember, put that TAB money on Tanah Boyd. We'll see you next week with all your rugby league news.
And Australia without rugby league is not Australia.